Well, hi, Victoria. Wanted to ask you a few things about your fibroid experience with the Fibroid Institute. First being, can you tell me a little about some of the symptoms you were experiencing that prompted you to seek treatment?
Yes, absolutely. And happy to take the time to talk about this today. So ever since I just have had a period since like 11, they have been really, really tough periods, really like lots of cramps, lots of heating pads, lots of Midol. And so when you grow up and like this is just your existence, like you're just in this like chronic pain constantly, you don't really think much of it. And so I was having a lot of heavy bleeding. My periods were super painful. I'm talking incapacitated, like needing a heated pad, working from bed, like the whole 9 yards. And so it progressively got worse. And so I decided that I should look into some options to see what was going on.
Perfect. And what did your fibroids keep you from doing in your day to day life?
Yeah, mine were pretty large. So, I mean, over 10 centimeters. So I was completely just in bed, like when my period would come, just in bed. Also, it made it like very uncomfortable to travel or do things around my period because it was so debilitating. I can say was. Oh my god, I can say was so debilitating because it is past tense now. Like amazing. So, it was so debilitating and now I'm free now. So I'm just super excited now that I'm at this place because I didn't think that this was even possible.
That's awesome. So, what made you decide to have the UFE procedure?
So it's a bit of a story. I'll try to make it pretty efficient for you guys because I really want any woman who's watching this video, I want you to know that this is a very intimate and very important decision about your health. And so I want my story to possibly reach you so that you won't have to go through what I went through um, because you're hearing me now. I had went the kind of traditional route. The nurse practitioner who's overseeing my gynecological care had recommended to see a doctor in the medical center who then ordered a sonogram, very basic surface level imaging. And based off of that surface level imaging, I was told that if I did not want children, that they would recommend a hysterectomy. And then if I did want to have children, then the secondary option would have been a myomectomy, which is akin to a C-section. And the way the cavalierness of the doctor and casually mentioned, I'm going to gut you like a fish, you're going to be out of work 6 weeks, I'm hearing this, it's not making me feel comfortable, but it's so quick, said so quickly. I just kind of like, maybe I just went along with it. And so I tell my mom this, and she's like, absolutely not. Like, nope, not happening. My mom lives in Mississippi, and she had a client actually who lived in Washington, D.C., who had flown from Washington, D.C. to see Dr. Fisher and said, if your daughter's in Houston, she has to go to the best physician. Dr. Fisher is the best physician for the UFE. You must go there. And so I have to be honest with my mom. Kind of, my mom said, you do understand that if you go through with the myomectomy, your ability to have a natural birth is potentially compromised. And that was not something that the doctor even explained to me. And so, you know, it was one of those things where I had to seek a second opinion. And if you're watching this and if you got an opinion to get a myomectomy, I would strongly recommend that you go talk to Dr. Fisher's team. They're incredibly efficient. Get the imaging done. He's super thorough. He's not asking for surface level imaging. I think that was the most disconcerting part about this is that, the doctor who was saying, yeah, we'll take out your uterus only did so with like not even seeing the full picture. She only saw 4 fibroids on her imaging. Dr. Fisher caught 10. That is a very big discrepancy.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, that's what motivated me.
Yeah, the MRI will pick up a much better picture.
Mm-hmm.
So, when was your UFE procedure?
I believe it was October 15th.
25?
Yeah, it was 25. Yeah,
Okay.
October 15th, 2025. Yeah.
So, since your procedure, how have you benefited and how has your life changed or improved?
To be able to not be in pain. I mean, I remember when my first cycle after the procedure hit, I was almost incredulous to even be like, wow, I have my period. I didn't even know that I was experiencing a menstrual cycle. until I saw that I was. And I was like, wow. And once I had that experience, I mean, again, if you have fibroids, you're probably used to heavy, heavy bleeding. You're probably used to the pain. It probably doesn't even phase you. But once that pain is gone, does not exist, you're like so many more. I can focus. I can not worry about my family planning, the next step in my family planning. I don't have to be concerned. You know, if you're seeing this, I want you to know that if you're working with Dr. Fisher, you are truly working with the best, period. And so I would really stress that.
Now, your significant other, your husband, right? Now, how does he feel about your whole situation and procedure?
Yeah, so he was a person taking care of me after post-op, and he's definitely noticed a difference just in my mobility alone, in not complaining about being in pain, because typically when I would be out for the count, he'd be the one coming to, check on me, giving me the Midol, all the things. And so he definitely has seen like another side of like life, like being my partner, to be able to, we can travel. And I don't have to worry about, oh my gosh, if I get my period, like we're going to have to figure out what we're going to do that day, because I can't go to the dinner because I just bled out of all of my stuff and I don't have anything. So it is like completely changed my life, really. Yeah, it has.
Well, that's awesome. Now, would you recommend UFE to others? And what would you say to them?
Okay, so I don't know if you can see it, but that little dot, little freckle is my incision scar for my UFE. Okay? Ask someone to see their scar from a myomectomy. It's a different ballpark, different game. They're slicing through muscle and uterine tissue. This was just, he just went through my arm.
What was your recovery like?
Oh, yeah, it was honestly, the worst part about it was the constipation. Other than that, the procedure itself was not painful. There was really no pain. And, when you're taking pain medications, just par for the course, they're gonna make you constipated. And so that was the most like hard part for it for me. But I literally called Dr. Fisher on a weekend to talk about this, and he was available, and he recommended what I should do. And what he recommended in that moment, off business hours, might I add, it actually helped to give me relief. And so when you're choosing to work with Dr. Fisher's team, it's not a one and done and you're out of there. They literally, from before you, like, it's a whole process, but every step of the way, every person you're going to be checking in with and talking to, the level of care is so bespoke and so it's almost like you have a private team that is dedicated to serving and supporting you in this journey. That is a big differentiating factor, I would say, for this for the UFE procedure and this specific group.
We'd love to hear it. So you would recommend Fibroid Institute?
Yes, I would 1,000,000,000,000% recommend the Fibroid Center. And again, I remember even when I was like on the table getting ready, prep for surgery, my her name was Shireen, and she was absolutely wonderful. And I was in the moment, getting a little nervous, things are, check this, and I'm like, okay, how's this gonna go? And Shireen came over. She said, what can I get you? What do you need? I said, I'm really cold. She gave me like the hottest, warmest blanket out of like a warmer. And she even gave me like a fan to stick directly hot air under the covers so I could be just as comfortable as possible going into the procedure. There are levels, and we are in America, and the American healthcare system is not what it needs to be. But when I come across physicians like Dr. Fisher, pioneers, people who actually care, people who built their practice intentionally, it's a completely different experience, and actually should be the gold standard, not for Texas, but for the world.
Agreed. So, are there any other final thoughts you'd like to say to other women experiencing fibroids?
Yes. Don't take the first answer that you get from someone who's talking about slicing and dicing. Okay. If slicing and dicing is on the table, you may need a third opinion, right? It's not small. These are not small decisions. Taking parts out of you is not a small decision. And I think that the thoroughness that Dr. Fisher has, he literally went over the MRI with me prior to the procedure, showed me each individual blood vessel. So you see these blood vessels? Yep, this is what we're going to target. This is what we're going to do. And so I went into it really knowledgeable, really comfortable, really supported. And I think that the differentiating factor is, especially if you are a woman of color, you are going to get the red carpet here. And when you get the red carpet, you can't not do that again. You know, it has to be, that's the standard. Once you receive amazing, incredible, which is what this team delivers, you're not gonna accept anything less than that from any practitioner. So I really would really like 1,000,000% even reach out to me. My name is Victoria Duplashawn. I'm on LinkedIn if you have any questions. Please, like this is, if you're having doubts, if you're on the fence, this is where you need to be.
Thank you for sharing, Victoria.
Of course, it's my pleasure.